Okay, so we're on to session 9. So we just reviewed Weebly and a relatively popular website builder online. So I wanted to go ahead and show you kind of an equivalent built into Unified Classroom. Now, because I don't use this as much, I rely on my website. I'll show you if you already have a website builder, you have a resource page, I'll show you how I link it and how I've addressed that issue. Or if you want to use Unified Classroom as your website builder, just a standalone kind of a thing, I'm going to do my best to at least show you some features that go through it. I am not as practiced at this part, but it's one of those click and play around with it things. So I'm going to be as direct and concise as I can be, and show you some features. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you where it's at. If you go to the left-hand page with class pages, and we're going to wait for that to load just a minute. Okay, so this is what I have as far as my pages. This is what amounts to it's a Weebly. It is a Weebly for your Unified Classroom. Anybody with the link can get here. This is a web page, and it is a legitimate web page. It does not allow them to check out student data or anything like that. This is a separate entity, but within the same kind of container. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to build a page. Now, I've already built a page. This page I have published to all of my classes. So this is my page. My page has the title. You can add a content block if you so wish. The only content block that I put in as the title of my webpage. I put a link to my webpage, and I also have a picture of the webpage title so that they can see exactly what they're getting into. I also put a content block in over here. I should probably move this. I put a content block in over here to our Artsonia page so that anybody who's looking to go to our Artsonia webpage can actually just click on the link. It'll take them right to our Maplewood Elementary Art Gallery. This is the public view, I believe. I'm logged in. So it would have something similar. The only difference would be it doesn't have artwork displayed by anybody whose parent hasn't clicked, yes, this is okay to publicly produce. If they haven't given that permission, then their picture doesn't show up when I'm not logged in. But you can see this comes down to our Artfolio website. So that being said, I'm going to exit out of that. And I'm going to show you how to add a content block. So I'm going to, first things first, I'm going to add a page. We're going to title this test page because it's such a fancy name with a lot of effort put into it. So what I can do is I can put it as a new page at the bottom of the list, like we saw in Weebly on the left-hand side when you click the Pages tab. It's going to come up as a separate page when you do that. It will not nestle in and make a sub-menu unless you ask it to. This one is a sub-page, so I'm going to make a sub-page of the art room. So I already have a page, so this has a drop-down box. If you do not have a page, it might not even show up. So if you look at this, this is how the organization goes. So art room test page, we'll put test page 1, and then I'll add another one. We're going to save that. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to add another test page. Add page. Call it testy 2 or something like that. I'm going to add that as let's do it at the bottom as a real page. Okay, save. Just so we have a different kind of view. All right, so if you take a look, I have art room, and it has an arrow. So if I hit that drop down arrow, it'll show you the thing that's tabbed in. Hang on a second. Okay, you gotta behave. If you're gonna be on camera, you gotta behave. No grabbing microphones, no kicking the TV stand, nothing. All right, let's try this again. You can see right here it says unpublished. This one is published. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. You can see over here. Oops. Okay. All right, it just needed jumped. The publish button is here instead of on the top like it was in Weebly. but I can make all of my changes before I publish this. So if I want to add a content block, it's just a matter of what I'd like to do. If I want to do messages. Is that your 2 cents? Huh? Yeah, you smile all you want. I can put in unified classroom assignments, so I can actually make a message board that says, hey, you got an assignment coming up. I can have it list a Dropbox kind of a thing. I can use a poll. I can use a wiki project. There's all kinds of different things. I can add a discussion. So I'm going to do a couple of different things just for running the gambit. Let's do content. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a YouTube video. So if you've been creating content on YouTube, or if you've taken the YouTube or will be taking the YouTube content creator that Joy Schaefer and Jackie Seda are putting together, this is probably a good option to kind of link all the stuff in together if you'd like. So I'm just going to add a video to start. So I'm going to give a title apparently to the collection. So let's call it YouTube is awesome. And we're going to hit next. We're going to upload a file. We're going to choose the files, I believe. Let's take a look. Let's see. Did I get the right thing? Let's cancel here. Hi. Add content block. Let's see. Oh, I chose the wrong one. Okay, so what was happening there was I chose, and you probably caught this before I did, I chose video, which means that I would take it off of my laptop. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to YouTube and URL of external content. So what it wants to know is, what's the link to your YouTube page? What's the link to the video you want to share? So I'm going to come over here and we're just going to grab one. I did a couple read alouds. Let's just grab one of those. We're going to pause that, and I'm just going to pick one. Let's do this one. Why not? The girl. This is one of the read alouds I did. We're going to Command C for copy. We're going to come over here, and we're going to do Command V for paste. You could also go up to the menu, go edit, copy, edit, paste. This is just a different method. Hi, Wiggles. Your choice of embedded or in a pop-up, what that does, and it may be self-explanatory, but for those who may be questioning that, embedded means it will be right onto your website, and it will be something that'll be right in there with everything else, and it'll play. And in a pop-up means that you will, when you click on that, it will come up in a separate window, and then they'll be able to exit out of it when they're done. So I'm going to hit embedded just so you can see the difference. You've probably encountered pop-ups with as much as you use the web. So I'm just going to do the embedded button. I can put a description in if I'd like. I don't have to. I can do any adjustment that I'd like. I can choose where my block is going to be. So it's either going to be at the top of column 1, the bottom of column 1. So I have content. I have A1 block in there already, so I can choose whether it's above it or below it. I could also choose to put it at the top of column 2. So there's actually a column at the side. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to save it. And then if you take a look, I'm going to get myself out of the way. Since we did an embedded file, it's coming up here and it comes up as the pop-up. And we're going to go ahead and close that. So you can actually add the YouTube videos over here as far as settings go. And that's probably looking the way it is, just because we put it off on the side. So we are not going to move that anywhere else. I'm going to edit this and I'm going to rearrange it. I think, maybe. Let's get us out of the way, Mara. We're going to hit save. This is where I'm not clear. All right. Okay, we're going to come up here for today. Let's see, move. Let's try that. I want to see if I can get it to the other side. All right, so if I wanted to make this available for everybody, what I did in order to get this where I have it, I published this. I made one page, and it's much like the copy and paste function in Weebly. When I made it, I made one page, and I copied that to all of my classrooms. So I have this copied to 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 2A, 2B, 2C, and so on and so forth. This is the same page. You can customize these, and if you want to make a separate page for each of your classes, you can. That's up to you. But you are not obligated to do that. You can have one central page for everybody, or you can have, like a Google Classroom, you can have different pages for different classrooms. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to try and add another content block. And for giggles, let's go on to our messages and activities. And let's start a discussion. Let's see if we can get the kids talking. They probably won't, because obviously nobody's on there. How we read. No. If there's a rubric, apparently you can attach a rubric. I would not, especially for any of this, I would not attach rubrics at this time. I've investigated doing a digital rubric on the system, and I was not fond of how that worked. There might be an easier way to do it, but I prefer the paper method anyway, so I just decided that I was going to grade them on paper, hand the kids the paper, and then put in the grades. So I can put in a short discussion question. Mara wants to know how we read. Typing one-handed is awesome. Know how we read. And then we can use this as a class discussion. We can use it as a group discussion. So you can designate just a couple of different groups. Or you can do it as a one-to-one. So they can either discuss in groups, they can discuss as a class, or you can discuss as private journals or blogs. I'm going to go ahead and do it as a class discussion just to see what happens. Are we happy now? All right. So you can set a time frame for when this discussion should happen or when it will accept posts. You can require them to post before they actually see other people's settings. And you can also save it in the gradebook. So you can approve, or I guess prove that they have participated in the discussion as an active group. You can also attach something from Google Drive or upload a file. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So if you wanted to maybe have a video file and attach a discussion from the video file, you're welcome to do that. All right, so I'm going to save. And this was on, I believe, test 1. No, let's try test T2. Okay, so that's where we had that. That's where we had... there it is, over on the side. So we have, Mara wants to know how we read, and then we can open the discussion. So it's going to be grouped. It's going to have an active posting system. It's going to probably have where you can comment on different stuff. You can write your post, save it as a draft, and come back to it later. I'm going to go ahead and cancel. So you can actually have a discussion board going. Let's see, manage discussion. Okay, so you have all kinds of controls over here too. Like I said, I haven't delved into that just yet on my own, but maybe we'll do that here in the future. We'll see. Get the X out in the middle. Okay, what else did we want to cover? What do we want to cover? What do we want to play with? One more. We'll add another content block. Let's add it in here. I'm going to delete these after we're all done, so that's no problem. All right, add a content block. So these are basically on the left-hand side what was on Weebly. These are your building blocks. These are what you have to build with. So if you haven't caught on to that, that's kind of where you're going. You can put in an activity block. Let's see, messages and activities. Let's see, I'm going to put, let's do content. Let's do a file. Let me get one of my rubrics. art rubric. So if I have a rubric and I'm thinking about it, what I'm going to do is I like to attach a copy. So I could either list it on the side, I could list it here in the middle, but I'm going to hit next. And then it's going to allow me to either attach from Google Drive, which is great because then you don't have to go searching for it, or you can upload a file right from your computer. You can't have my microphone, I'm sorry. You can't. I'm going to come in here to, let's see here. Oh, goodness. I guess I could just pick one. The cat image from earlier, why not? You can attach anything you want, basically. If it's a rubric so that parents can look over what the art rubric would say, or you could just type in, this is the rubric we're using for the project that's coming up. It's a communication tool. But you can see that it's uploaded the file. So now anybody who comes to this page has access to the file as far as that goes. So if I publish this, it will go live. So I'm going to publish now. And we're going to go ahead. It's inactive, so that's okay. Now, let's say that I want to copy this or share this with anybody else. So let's see. I'm going to it hides windows. Manage page. That's what we want to do. I'm going to exit out of that for now. All right, so we can share the page. So if I go to share page, it's going to ask, do we want to do this by invitation? So if I do that, it will contain a URL that you can share with other people. So you're going to hit continue. And you can include the sub pages, or you can just share that one page. You can send your invitation via email, or you can post it basically anywhere. So you can get an active link for anybody to come through. The other thing that you can do too is, let me find it here. We're going to copy. So if I'd like to copy this and search different classes, I can copy this to, let's see, this is Mrs. Baker, so I'm going to copy this to Mrs. Crawl. And I have a list of the pages. So it's actually going to make a copy of the page that I created, and it's going to share it with Mrs. Crawl's class. I did this copy a page thing. I built my page, and then I copied it for every single class that I had, so that they would have access to basically all the same information. I rely on my wiki, or not my wiki, but my Weebly page, so that I can give them the opportunity to kind of go all to a central area. And I don't use it actively to remind them about assignments, at least not at the elementary level. At the high school level, that might come into more of a focus. And I'm not sure how it looks. I think there's a way to preview it to see. Let's see if we can figure that out. I think you can preview it to see what the external view of it is rather than the, rather than just your page. Let's see. I'm not sure. That's something we will ask in the next segment, I think, because the next segment relies on or addresses where you go get help. If you don't know the answer to something, or you're not sure where to figure it out, you can actually go to several different places, and we'll address that in the next segment. So I actually think that having a problem on this part of it is actually a good thing. And we'll take advantage of that active learning moment in the next segment, and we'll figure this out as we go. So hopefully Mara will be content on the floor. We'll see how it goes, because it's really hard to type with her in hand. And we'll see you in the next segment to see, where do you go for help?